Welcome. In this module, we'll explore the concept of income from other sources under the Income Tax Act. For tax purposes, all income is classified under 5 main heads: salaries, income from house property, profits and gains of business or profession, capital gains, and finally, income from other sources. If your income doesn't fit into the first 4 categories, it's likely to be taxed under this last head. Understanding this classification is crucial for accurate tax computation and compliance. Let's dive deeper into what exactly falls under income from other sources and how it is taxed. Income from other sources is essentially a residual category. If a particular income cannot be classified under salaries, house property, business or profession, or capital gains, it is taxed under this head. This ensures that all forms of income are brought into the tax net, leaving no room for ambiguity. Common examples include interest income, dividends, winnings from lotteries, and certain types of gifts. This head acts as a catch-all, making sure that even unconventional or irregular incomes are taxed appropriately. Section 56 of the Income Tax Act specifically deals with the chargeability of income under the head, Income from Other Sources. Lists out various types of income that are taxable here, such as interest on bank deposits, interest on investments, dividends, winnings from lotteries and gambling, income from owning and maintaining racehorses, interest on compensation, gifts, salaries of MPs or MLAs, income from subletting, family pension, and even income from activities like paper setting or invigilation. Each of these has its own nuances and rules for taxation. Interest earned on bank deposits or investments is a common example of income from other sources. Whether you have a savings account, fixed deposit, or bonds, the interest you earn is taxable unless specifically exempted. It's important to note that this includes both recurring and one-time interest receipts. Proper disclosure of such income ensures compliance and avoids penalties. Always check if any specific exemption applies to your interest income before including it in your tax return. Dividends received from investments in shares or mutual funds are also taxed under this head, unless exempted by specific provisions. While earlier certain dividends were exempt, recent changes have made most dividends taxable in the hands of the recipient. It's crucial to keep track of all dividend receipts during the year and report them accurately. This ensures that you don't miss out on any taxable income and stay compliant with tax law. Winnings from lotteries, gambling, and horse racing are classic examples of income from other sources. These are taxed at special rates and no deductions are allowed for expenses incurred in earning such income. So if you win a lottery or a prize, the entire amount is taxable, and you cannot claim the cost of the ticket or any related expenses as a deduction. This rule ensures that windfall gains are fully brought to tax. If you own and maintain racehorses, any income derived from them is also taxed under the head Income from Other Sources. This includes winnings from races or any related activities. The tax treatment here is unique, and specific provisions apply to ensure proper reporting and taxation. If you're involved in such activities, it's important to maintain clear records and understand the applicable rules. Interest received on compensation or enhanced compensation, such as in land acquisition cases, is also taxable under this head. This ensures that any additional income arising from delayed payments or settlements is brought to tax. The timing and manner of taxation can vary, so it's important to consult the relevant provisions or seek professional advice if you receive such income. Gifts received in cash or kind can also be taxed as income from other sources, subject to certain limits and exceptions. If the aggregate value of gifts received during a year exceeds Rs. 50,000, the entire amount becomes taxable, unless the gift is received from specified relatives or on certain occasions. This rule is designed to prevent tax evasion through large, unexplained gifts. Salaries received by members of Parliament, members of Legislative Assembly, or directors that are not covered under the head salaries are taxed as income from other sources. This ensures that all forms of remuneration, even those not fitting traditional employment, are taxed appropriately. It's important for such individuals to report these incomes correctly. If you sublet a house property and earn income from it, this income is taxed under the head Income from Other Sources. This is because you are not the owner of the property, but you are earning income by letting it out. Such income must be reported separately from rental income earned as an owner. Family pension received by the legal heirs of a deceased employee is taxable under income from other sources. However, a standard deduction is allowed, 1/3 of the pension or Rs. 15,000, whichever is less. This provides some relief to the recipients and ensures fair taxation. Income earned from activities like paper setting, evaluation, or invigilation is also taxed under this head. These are typically one-off or irregular incomes that don't fit into other categories. If you receive such payments, make sure to include them in your tax return under income from other sources. Let's talk about cash gifts. If the total cash gifts you receive in a year do not exceed Rs. 50,000, the entire amount is exempt from tax. However, if the total exceeds Rs. 50,000, then the whole amount becomes taxable, not just the excess. This rule is straightforward but important to remember when receiving gifts. Gifts of movable property such as jewelry or artwork are also subject to tax rules. If the fair market value of such gifts received without consideration exceeds Rs. 50,000, the entire value is taxable. If received for inadequate consideration, the difference is taxed if it exceeds Rs. 50,000. These rules ensure that valuable gifts are properly taxed. When it comes to immovable property like land or buildings, the stamp duty value is the key. If you receive such property as a gift and the stamp duty value exceeds Rs. 50,000, the entire value is taxable. If you buy property for less than its stamp duty value, the difference is taxed if it exceeds Rs. 50,000. These rules prevent undervaluation and tax evasion. Not all gifts are taxable. Gifts received from specified relatives on the occasion of marriage, under a will, or by inheritance in contemplation of death from local authorities or from certain institutions and charitable trusts are exempt from tax. These exceptions recognize the special nature of such gifts and provide relief from taxation. The term relative has a specific definition for tax purposes. It includes your spouse, siblings, siblings of your spouse, siblings of your parents, lineal ascendants or descendants and their spouses. This definition is important because gifts from these individuals are not taxable regardless of the amount. Section 57 allows certain deductions from income taxed under other sources. For example, you can deduct commission remuneration or brokerage from dividend income. For family pension, a deduction of 1/3 of the pension or Rs. 15,000, whichever is less, is allowed. These deductions help reduce your taxable income and provide some relief. Section 58 lists expenses that are not deductible from income under this head. These include personal expenses, interest on salary paid outside India without tax deduction, and any expenses incurred for earning lottery or gambling income. This ensures that only legitimate expenses are allowed as deductions. Let's look at a practical example. Mr. A received several gifts during the year, including cash and movable property from friends and relatives. Some gifts were on special occasions while others were regular. The taxability of each gift depends on the amount, the relationship with the giver, and the occasion. Let's break down how each is treated under the tax rules. Mr. A received a gift of Rs. 50,000 by check from a friend. Since the total cash gifts from non-relatives do not exceed Rs. 50,000, this amount is exempt. However, if he receives more cash gifts from non-relatives during the year and the total exceeds Rs. 50,000, the entire amount becomes taxable. A cash gift of Rs. 100,000 from Mr. A's brother is fully exempt from tax, as gifts from specified relatives are not taxable regardless of the amount. This highlights the importance of understanding who qualifies as a relative under tax laws. A cash gift of Rs. 100,000 from a nephew is taxable, as a nephew is not included in the definition of relative for gift tax exemption. Since the amount exceeds Rs. 50,000, the entire sum is taxable under income from other sources. Mr. A received a diamond ring worth Rs. 75,000 from a friend on his birthday. Since the fair market value exceeds Rs. 50,000 and the gift is from a non-relative, the entire value is taxable as income from other sources. Mr. A received cash gifts totaling Rs. 124,000 from friends on the occasion of his marriage. Gifts received on marriage are fully exempt from tax regardless of the amount or the relationship with the giver. This is a special exemption provided under the law. A cash gift of Rs. 51,000 from Mr. A's wife's sister on a house opening ceremony is exempt, as the wife's sister qualifies as a relative under the tax rules. Gifts from such relatives are not taxable regardless of the occasion. A cash gift of Rs. 151,000 from a close friend of Mr. A's father-in-law is taxable, as the giver is not a specified relative. Since the amount exceeds Rs. 50,000, the entire sum is taxable under income from other sources. A cash gift of Rs. 151,000 from Mr. A's great-grandfather is exempt, as gifts from lineal ascendants are not taxable. This highlights the importance of knowing the definition of relative for tax purposes. A cash gift of Rs. 165,000 received under the will of a friend is exempt from tax, as gifts received by way of inheritance or under a will are not taxable regardless of the amount or relationship. A cash gift of Rs. 51,000 from a business friend on Mr. A's birthday is taxable, as the amount exceeds Rs. 50,000 and the giver is not a relative. The entire amount is included in taxable income. Mr. A received cash gifts of Rs. 25,000 each from 3 friends totaling Rs. 75,000. Since the aggregate exceeds Rs. 50,000 and the gifts are from non-relatives, the entire amount is taxable under income from other sources. Mr. A purchased land and a building for Rs. 2 million and Rs. 2,500,000, while the stamp duty values were Rs. 2,040,000 and Rs. 2,600,000 respectively. Since the purchase price of the building is less than the stamp duty value by Rs. 100,000, this difference is treated as a taxable gift under income from other sources. Adding up all taxable gifts and property differences, Mr. A's total income from other sources for the year is Rs. 602,000. This includes cash gifts, the value of the diamond ring, and the difference in property value. Accurate calculation and reporting are essential for compliance. In another scenario, Mr. A received gifts from his great-grandfather, a friend who is seriously ill, and on the occasion of his marriage. All these gifts are exempt from tax due to the relationship, occasion, or circumstances. This demonstrates how exemptions can significantly reduce taxable income. Mr. A also won Rs. 100,000 from a lottery. He claimed a deduction of Rs. 10,000 for the cost of the lottery ticket, but such deductions are not allowed. The entire amount of Rs. 100,000 is taxable under income from other sources. Mr. A purchased a house for Rs. 2,500,000 while the stamp duty value was Rs. 2 million. Since the purchase price is higher, there is no taxable gift element. Only purchases below stamp duty value can result in taxable income under this head. Mr. A bought a diamond ring for Rs. 100,000 while its fair market value was Rs. 150,000. Since the difference does not exceed Rs. 50,000, there is no taxable income from this transaction. The threshold is important in determining taxability. Mr. A rented out furniture for Rs. 5,000 per month, earning Rs. 60,000 a year. After deducting Rs. 10,000 for repairs, the net income is Rs. 50,000. This is taxable under income from other sources as it is not covered under house property income. Rental income from letting out a house for accommodation is taxed under income from house property, not other sources. It's important to distinguish between the two as the rules and deductions differ. To summarize, Mr. A's taxable income from other sources includes lottery winnings and net furniture rental income, totaling Rs. 150,000. All other gifts and transactions in this scenario are exempt or not taxable due to specific rules and thresholds. Understanding the rules for income from other sources is essential for accurate tax filing. Always check the relationship with the giver, the occasion, and the value of gifts. Remember the special rules for winnings, property transactions, and rental income. Proper classification ensures you pay the correct tax and avoid penalties. Taxpayers often make mistakes by not aggregating all gifts, misunderstanding the definition of relatives, or claiming disallowed deductions. Always aggregate all gifts from non-relatives and remember that only certain expenses are deductible. When in doubt, consult a tax professional. Keep detailed records of all gifts, winnings, and property transactions. Maintain documentation for the source and occasion of gifts and always check the latest tax rules before filing your return. This will help you avoid errors and ensure smooth tax compliance. In conclusion, income from other sources is a broad category that ensures all types of income are taxed appropriately. By understanding the rules, exemptions, and thresholds, you can manage your tax liability efficiently. Always stay updated with the latest provisions and seek help if needed. Thanks for watching and happy filing.